It began with a whisper, a faint echo that stirred in the darkness long before consciousness returned. Daniel's eyes opened to blackness, so deep it felt like the air itself had weight. He couldn't see his hands, his feet, or even the faintest outline of the space around him. The air was stale, heavy, and smelled faintly of iron. When he tried to move, his fingers brushed against something rough, concrete, cold and damp. He was lying on the floor. But where? His heart started to pound as he pushed himself up, every movement sending little shocks of pain through his body. His voice cracked as he spoke, "Hello." The sound didn't travel far. It hit the walls and came back, smaller, weaker, like the room was swallowing it whole. There were no windows, no light, no sound except his breathing. The last thing Daniel remembered was leaving the university library late at night. He had been researching ancient architecture for his thesis, particularly structures designed for sensory deprivation. He remembered the hum of streetlights, the cool air on his face. Then nothing. Just this. He stood up, palms sweeping the walls. Smooth concrete. No seams, no doorframe, nothing. Just a box. A perfect cube. He screamed, louder this time, but the sound still collapsed around him. Panic set in like a fever. His throat tightened, his legs trembled. He began pounding the wall until his knuckles split and blood slicked the surface. But even pain felt muted here, distant. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time didn't exist in that room. There was no sunrise, no nightfall, no change. The air neither warmed nor cooled. When exhaustion won, Daniel curled into himself and drifted into a fitful sleep. He woke to the sound of breathing. Not his own. A whisper brushed past his ear, soft, almost tender. "You shouldn't have come." He froze. The air felt colder now. He turned toward the sound, though he couldn't see anything. "Who's there?" No reply. Just the sound of movement, light, deliberate, as though someone were circling him. His pulse thundered in his ears. "I said, who's there?" The whisper again. "You open the door." Daniel backed against the wall. "What door?" "There's no door." The voice chuckled, low and brittle. "You saw it before. You asked what lies behind walls built without windows. Now you're inside the answer." He screamed until his throat burned, but no one came. He slammed his fists against the concrete, desperate to find even a crack. Instead, something shifted beneath his palm, a vibration deep within the wall, like a living pulse. And then, faintly light. It began as a hairline fracture of brightness, slicing through the black. Daniel stumbled back, shielding his eyes as the glow expanded into strange symbols carved into the walls, old, ancient, glowing faintly red. He could read them, though he didn't understand how. Those who seek to see must lose the world of sight. He pressed his fingers against the nearest glowing rune. Instantly, the rune trembled. The concrete rippled like water, and Daniel fell to his knees, clutching his ears as a low hum filled the air. The sound burrowed into his skull, not a sound exactly, but a vibration that spoke inside his mind. "Welcome, Daniel," it said. "You have found the chamber of truth." He screamed, "What do you want from me?" "To show you what cannot be seen." And then the room changed. The darkness peeled away like a curtain. He was no longer in a room, or rather, the room had become infinite. The walls stretched into the horizon. The ceiling dissolved into a black sky threaded with red veins of light. Floating figures appeared, shadows shaped like humans, whispering in languages older than time. Daniel fell to his knees, trembling. His eyes darted wildly, searching for something real to hold on to. "You're dreaming," he whispered to himself. "This isn't real." But the air answered him. "It is more real than the world you left." He began to remember flashes, the research papers, the stories of rooms built as gateways between perception and reality. Some cultures believed that a room without windows could reveal the shape of the soul, if you could survive long enough to see it. "Why me?" he asked. The voice replied, "Because you looked." The floating figures surrounded him now, faces shifting between familiar and strange, professors, friends, his own reflection. They spoke in unison. "You opened your eyes when you should have stayed blind." Daniel stumbled backward, clutching his head as their words burned into his skull. Images flooded his mind, countless people, through centuries, all trapped in rooms like this. Each one searching for knowledge, each one consumed by it. He saw them screaming, vanishing into walls, their voices echoing forever. He tried to run, but every direction was the same. Infinite walls. Infinite whispers. Please, he begged. Let me out. The voice softened. There is no out. There is only through. A single doorway appeared then, tall, arched, and carved with symbols that pulsed like veins. Beyond it, a faint blue light beckoned. Daniel hesitated. What's through there? Truth. He stepped forward. The moment he crossed the threshold, gravity vanished. The world inverted. He was falling, but also rising, through endless layers of memories and lives. He saw himself as a child, as an old man, as a stranger in another world. He saw his own hands building the room, brick by brick, with no memory of doing so. And then silence. He was back in the room, only now the walls were glass. On the other side, he saw a mirror image of himself, asleep, breathing, trapped. He pounded the glass, screaming for his other self to wake, but the figure didn't move. He realized, with horror, that he was on the wrong side. He was the reflection now. The voice returned, calm and final. You wanted to see what lies beyond the window. But some windows open inward. The glass began to frost over. Daniel pressed his palms to it, but the cold spread through him until he couldn't feel his hands. His reflection opened its eyes and smiled. Rest now, it said. The world went white. When Daniel awoke again, he was lying on a bed in a hospital room. Sunlight poured through wide windows. A nurse stood by his side, checking his pulse. You're lucky, she said softly. They found you unconscious in the old university basement. No windows down there, you know. You were out for 3 days. He blinked, staring at the window. The light looked too bright, too perfect. The nurse noticed. Something wrong. He smiled faintly, shaking his head. No, he whispered. Just wondering which side of the glass I'm on. As she left, his eyes drifted to the reflection in the window. For a brief, impossible moment, the reflection didn't move when he did. It just smiled, slowly, knowingly. And then it was gone. Daniel lay back, heart pounding. The sunlight felt warm, but somewhere deep inside, the darkness was still whispering. You open the door, it said. And doors don't close themselves. Outside, the sun kept shining, but for Daniel, every reflection, every shadow, was a reminder. The room, without windows, had never left him. It had only changed its shape.